Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Ankylosing Spondylitis Reduce Your Pain podcast. The mission of this show is to help you feel inspired, to help you learn that you don't have to be a victim of ankylosing spondylitis forever. And you've heard me say this before, my singular, most conclusive message for you is that you can feel good again. And in fact, as we talk about in today's show, something like ankylosing spondylitis, something like an autoimmune disease, chronic disease, can actually help you get what you want. Because if you want to feel good in life, if you want to be happy, if you want to be healthy, then learning about health, deep levels of health, and how to work with the body, learning the art of wellness is going to help you feel better. And if you stay with that and you keep learning, you can outgrow the pain, as I am a good example of. And so is Peter and many more as well. So in this very interesting and counterintuitive truth, you can actually learn to feel better because of ankylosing spondylitis, because you're going to learn how to feel good, what that means, the mindful tools, how to reprogram the brain, how to rewire the body, how to exercise, how to get healthy. So that is so cool. That is so cool. And I would love if more doctors understood that. Peter Winslow and I, we're not doctors. We're not practicing medicine. I'm not curing or treating any disease. I'm someone who loves to study wellness. I'm someone who cares about people in pain because I've been in pain and I learned how to get out of it. Peter's the same way. So keep that in mind moving forward. We have a very in-depth understanding of wellness, which is very unique to this show. And that's why I can absolutely stand behind what I said before, the truth that you can feel good again, that you do not have to be victimized from ankylosing spondylitis forever. Now, a couple fun bullet points that you are going to learn more about in the show today. You're going to learn Peter's Habits That Heal lesson number 25, titled Work with Your Body, Not Against It. And this is a very important thing to begin doing in your life. I do not believe that you will heal from a disease like ankylosing spondylitis by beating it up, by fighting your body. I believe that you will heal by elevating wellness. And that is what Peter introduces in that habit today. I also share a little bit about my story with life purpose and how one of the things that is interesting that it even comes up in dialogue around disease is this term life purpose. And I know that my life purpose here on earth, I know that I didn't come here to feel bad. And I felt bad for a long time. And I learned how to not feel bad. I learned how to feel good. That was this healing process. And so Peter talks about life purpose and what that means, what it looks like. And he boils it down to simply saying that our life purpose is to feel good. And if you have AS and you're listening to this show, I think that you also know that. This is a very positive show. And not everyone understands the truth of what we say here. It's the people that might be a little confused or a little new, but they have a feeling inside that wants to feel good. They don't want to be in pain all the time. Those are the people that this show is designed for. And so, since you are here today, know that according to Peter and according to me, your life purpose is to feel good. It's not to suffer. It's not to be in pain forever. With that, let's get into today's conversation. Hey, Peter. Good to see you.
Hello, Sky. It's good to be back with you again here.
It is. It is. I'm excited for today's conversation.
Well, you're always excited for our conversations, aren't you?
Yeah, I will say I love this content. It's been so helpful for me, and to share it is always a blessing.
Yeah, I agree. It's a blessing for me to share.
And I really like this one because in my long journey of doing everything I could to reclaim my health from ankylosing spondylitis, I saw a lot of different practitioners, as you know. And I think that one of the coolest and most fun and most beneficial things I discovered through all those people was a piece of advice that came from you. And you said, Sky, don't fight your body so much. Learn to work with your body. And that right there was a completely new way for me to think at the time. The listeners, Peter, that might be new to that concept, why is that so important to work with our body instead of fighting it?
Yeah, of course, it's important to do this. And what people don't really realize is that when they're fighting their symptoms constantly with diets and drugs and other austere measures of treatment, they're actually fighting their own bodies. There's something going on within their body that they're now at war with. And so what you focus on expands. And if you focus on being at war with symptoms, guess what happens? They get stronger and they fight back, because what we resist persists, as Carl Jung taught us. And this is especially true of our mind, our emotions, and our bodily issues. If we fight with them, they fight back. So learning to work with your body instead of against it is primary and important for all manner of health and wellness in life, whether you're an Olympic athlete or a chronic sufferer of illness. People don't realize that what they fight with fights back. And you can't overcome a chronic issue by fighting it constantly. You've got to make peace at some point with the stress that creates that issue in order for the healing to occur. So healing occurs in the mind as a result of this. And the best training we can ever undergo is mental training, because wherever the mind goes and whatever the mind is trained for, the body naturally follows. So I taught you how to make yourself stronger and better, able to withstand what the symptoms were that you were doing and dealing with. And that's what ultimately helps to heal your body and heal your mind and heal your life. Isn't that right?
Yeah, yeah, it is. And I want to jump back and ask you a question. You said something really interesting. You said, what you resist persists. And if we take the vast majority of people with ankylosing spondylitis all over the planet, almost all of them are fighting it. They're resisting it. I mean, it sucks, right? It's chronic pain. Like, it is not fun. So in that specific situation, how does that resistance keep the disease around? Like, you say that what you resist persists. How does the resistance keep something persistent?
Through the focus of internal awareness. What you're focused on expands, remember. What you look at, you find. What you look for, you seek, you find. So when you're also always looking for chronic pain and the symptoms of illness, you're going to find more and more of that stuff. That's the issue with modern medicine today. And in fact, Dr. David Agus, in his book, his most recent book that came out called The Cure for Illness, he talks about the misgiving of modern medicine, because it's simply focused on a disease and trying to solve that disease rather than the condition of the whole person and the patient in total. So that's the mistake Dr. Agus says about modern medicine, is that they're focused in on the disease instead of the patient. So what I taught you to do, and I teach others to do, is to move out of that paradigm of always fighting. Because chronic pain versus acute pain, okay, there's a difference here. Acute pain, if you break your leg, it's going to be painful. You want to set the bone in a cast and let it heal, which it does by itself once you've treated it properly. But chronic pain is a different animal altogether. Chronic pain is a mind-body issue. And that means that your body will heal from chronic pain only if you also heal your mind from the root stress that causes the symptoms of chronic pain. So if you simply focus on treating the body, you're going to struggle for life. And that's why medical science says that they've got no cure, right? Because in their approach to treatment, the root cause is not addressed. Just the symptoms. We just fight the symptoms in modern medicine. And as we've seen time and time again, unconscious stress is the root that activates the symptoms of chronic illness. So they're not looking at that. They're not looking at that unconscious stress that's at the root of the symptoms. They're simply fighting the symptoms at the topical physical level of biology. So I teach people to stop waging war on the body and neutralize the root cause of the condition, which is that unresolved mental, emotional, and physical stress that takes place unconsciously. And then when you do that and get in alignment with healing instead of fighting, you'll watch as the body follows the mind into health and healing more rapidly and more effectively. Remember, as I just said, the best training we can ever have is mental training, because wherever the mind goes, the body naturally follows. And by extension, more directly, wherever the thoughts lead, our lives will follow. So what are you mentally training for? Are you mentally training to fight illness? Or are you mentally training to get happier and healthier? There is a difference. Are you living in fear for your health? Or are you confident of a happy ending? Either way, both of these scenarios are the product of the mind. So now I ask you to remember what I call the radiant rule, which is this: we ultimately become whatever we think about all day long. That's the radiant rule. We become whatever it is we think about all day. So condition your thoughts properly, and your healing potential will grow stronger and stronger as you go along.
So, Peter, that's really interesting. And so, according to that radiant rule that you just described, and specifically catering that to our demographic, why do most people with AS not get better?
Because their minds are looking at what's wrong, and they've been told that their condition is incurable. So it's this mystery illness that they don't know what to do with. And so, unfortunately, most people automatically resist facing their mental root stress. They don't go there. And our minds and our bodies are intimately connected. So you cannot make your body achieve what your mind does not believe. That's why your mind is where healing must begin. So that's the radiant rule. What we think about all day long is what we ultimately become. And it's true in all aspects of our lives, in our relationships, in our careers, and in our health. We become what it is we think about all day long. So that's why the mind is where the healing must begin. Instead of focusing on what you don't want and putting all your energy in trying to get rid of something that you don't want, turn that 180 degrees around and focus on what it is you'd like to experience. Put all your efforts and attention into what it is that lights you up and makes you feel good, rather than trying to get rid of what makes you feel bad.
Thank you for the clarification. I completely agree. It's like something I tell people: we don't heal beyond our own belief systems. If we feel like healing is a possibility for us, that's a direction that we can move, as long as, to your point, we put our focus there, we put our mind there, we put our thoughts there. If someone doesn't believe that they can heal, that's what they're going to see in life.
Yeah, and that's been said over and over again in our podcasts and by people who are greater than we are, that what you focus on expands, and if you believe you can, you will. And if you don't believe you can, there's no psychology in the world that says you can accomplish something when you do not believe you can do it. Yeah. So as Henry Ford said, and I often quote, he said, whether you believe you can or believe you cannot, either way, you're right. And so people are chasing some kind of a solution in the physical body only, in the biology only, and there's no cure there. So they can't figure out, what's going on with all this, and they automatically resist facing the mental root stress at the root of the condition. And when they can't figure out the nature of some unwanted health condition that they suffer from, they almost always lapse into that negative mindset. They're focused on their problems. And then they usually turn their focus to protecting themselves from those problems, from the pain and suffering and the other symptoms of the condition. And that's when people will start looking for a quick fix to get rid of it. And of course, this rarely works. It doesn't work out. So the condition remains impossible, unsolvable, inscrutable, and incurable. And this is all a fundamental misunderstanding of a great opportunity for healing your mind and body, which is what your stress is. So this fundamental misunderstanding takes what was a great opportunity for healing your mind and your body and turns it into a dead end.
Yeah, and I can see in many people the dead end trajectory that they're on until they start thinking differently and until they start working with their body differently, which is today's lesson.
Habits that heal lesson today. Which one is it? 25, I think.
Yeah, I'll jump into it now because it's very true what you say. People will end up on a dead end path until they start working with their body. I know from personal experience how much I was fighting everything, including my body. And you pointed out one time, you said, Sky, if you continuously fight with your body, who wins? And
Yeah.
that was an interesting thing for me to think about because until then, I was just doing what I thought I was supposed to do. I didn't know that I could think differently until you introduced this concept. So here's Winslow's Habits That Heal lesson number 25, titled Work with Your Body, Not Against It. Conventional wisdom tells us that if we struggle with chronic pain, disease, depression, or any other chronic ailment, then fighting the symptoms with potentially dangerous drugs or deprivation diets is the best way to deal with these issues. The problem is, while this approach to fighting our conditions may give us short-term relief from the symptoms, it isn't in alignment with true long-term health. When you fight with your symptoms, you are also fighting your own body. And waging war with your body will never make it healthy and happy. What you really need to do is focus on elevating your health instead of just fighting your symptoms. You must learn to reset your body so it can function the way it was designed to. You see, your body already has the ability to recover, rebuild immune function, and return to the truly vibrant state of health that you desire. And if you make just a few simple shifts in your daily habits, you can help your body recover, ease your mind, and heal your life.
Yeah, and that's what it's all really about, is healing your life, healing your identity, healing your life, not just running from a disease or a condition that you don't want to contend with. So our conditions come to teach us about ourselves. And that's another thing that modern medicine doesn't really allow for. Whether your doctor does or not is another matter. If they're awakened and aware of this, then maybe they've educated themselves beyond just what they got in medical school training. But they typically don't go there. They don't realize that the big challenges of our lives are really a sacred opportunity. So what I do is I lead people to a 180-degree shift in awareness by asking them, what if your condition is simply a guide? Come to remind you of what's really important in your life. How would that change things? What if handling it well could lead you straight to inner peace, love, and joy? What if your challenges provide you with the best opportunity you'll ever have to find your true purpose? How would that change things? And in fact, that's what our chronic conditions teach us to do, is find our true purpose, which is to heal our lives. So here's what the people don't really realize. The biggest challenges in our lives are a sacred opportunity, because it's life's way of taking us beyond our previous limitations. So our greatest challenges, including our health challenges, help us change who we've been in the past so that we can continue to grow and prosper going forward. And as our lives flow by in a stream of constant change, and we face challenges that seem greater than our own ability to answer them, each of these challenges poses this question to us. Are you willing to change who you have been in order to realize a higher possibility of who you really are? So that's a deep spiritual awareness that people don't equate with the purpose of their illness and the mission of chronic conditions, which is to wake us up so we can heal our lives. We're not talking about acute pain again. There's a difference. Acute pain, like if you break a bone, that's not the same thing. Chronic pain is a condition of mind and body. And you've got to start that conditioning in the mind for the body to follow suit, because the body always follows the mind. And that's answer to the question of, are you willing to change who you have been in the past in order to realize a higher potential in yourself? So I want people to recognize that their current condition is here to help them live their life purpose, which most people don't even realize is the case.
Well, one of the things I learned about life purpose was that I don't believe it's my life purpose to feel bad. And I was definitely feeling bad for a long time. And so as I utilized these lessons that you taught me, Peter, I was able to start actualizing, embodying, and living a newer life. I was becoming happier. And I can say that I think I have probably maybe a couple different purposes in life. One of them is to teach and share. And one of the really deep ones is to play and to have fun and to enjoy myself. And ironically enough, that's what ankylosing spondylitis taught me how to do, because I had completely shut that part of my life down. I was so hard on myself,
Yeah,
and my body redirected me very fast.
it'll do that.
Yeah. Working with the body, that's one of the ways that I stay healthy, is that I take a break when it's time to take a break. I go for a walk when it's time to take a walk, and I don't pound so hard to prove myself anymore, because I'm working with my body, and my body's like, hey, get up and go for a walk. I honor it.
Yeah, and so you've got nothing to prove anymore. Is that right?
I still like to do the best I can do. I have a little bit of wanting to showcase my talents and my skills. It's also very different than it used to be. It used to be just this very chronic state of trying to be good enough for my own internal battles in my mind.
And that's what causes chronic illness.
Exactly. That causes chronic illness. So, another question for you, Peter. You're talking about life purpose here. And I just shared my example of how ankylosing spondylitis helped me figure out what my life purpose is and what it isn't. What more do you have to say about life purpose, and why does life purpose even come up when we're talking about disease?
Yeah, great question. And I think a lot of people would wonder what the answer to that question is, which is this. We are to recognize that our current condition of illness is here to help us by helping us recognize and live our life purpose. So I like what Eckhart Tolle teaches about life purpose. You know, if you talk to different masters and leaders and thought leaders about what's going on with life purpose, you'll get a whole lot of different opinions about what it means. Eckhart splits it into two facets. He says that we have an inner purpose and an outer purpose. Everybody's inner purpose is the same, and everybody's outer purpose is constantly flux. It's changing all the time. So my inner purpose is the same as your inner purpose, which is the same as everyone's inner purpose. Eckhart says it is to raise your consciousness and become aware of who you really are, which is what your disease leads you to recognize and discover. I happen to take a different tack on the inner purpose. I believe everybody's inner purpose is the same, and your inner purpose and my inner purpose and everybody else's is to feel good. I mean, that's what everybody's trying to do, right? Everybody's trying to feel good in one way or another.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate goal that everybody has. Sure, they've all got different ideas about how they're going to accomplish that and what's going to make them feel good, so to speak. But they're trying to feel good. So that's our inner purpose, is just to feel good anyway. And your condition knocks you out of that current and puts you on a path to not feeling good because you're in pain and suffering and fear and loathing and resentment and rejection and resistance and fighting the body and all the rest of that. So you've got to learn how to make peace with all that in the mind, and then the body follows suit. So the current condition that you're under physically is a situation that's here to help you live and discover your life purpose. And what this means is that our life purpose is reflected in everything we experience. And everything we experience serves a purpose in one way or another. So this is a deep spiritual realization, and it's not obvious to most people. So in fact, most people don't even understand what life purpose really means. It's not even obvious to most. They're busy trying to avoid their challenges, get away from the pain and the fear. And yet, the path to our life purpose sometimes takes us directly through the heart of what we fear most. And that's what's going on with chronic illness. So desperately trying to avoid all of this by searching for a quick fix just makes matters worse in the long run. And that's one reason why there's so much suffering in our culture. So your purpose is to feel good. Chronic conditions knock you out of that purpose. So now they're here to lead you back to the true purpose of your life, which is to heal your life. That's your outer purpose. Inner purpose is to feel good. At this time, healing your life is your purpose now. And your outer purpose is constantly on the move. It's constantly changing and growing and evolving with you as you grow and evolve yourself.
These chronic conditions, they're amazing teachers if we allow them to be. And I know that something like ankylosing spondylitis can actually help someone get what they want out of life, which is to feel good. I think about some of the fundamentals of what I learned from you and what I share with other people, and it is this art of wellness, how to work with our body, how to elevate wellness. And that's something I wanted in life, really, because it helps me feel good. And that's what I want to do in life, is to feel good.
Ultimately so, of course. So work with your body instead of fighting against what's going on in the body, and you'll get there a lot more rapidly and a lot more efficiently and effectively. So instead of focusing on the problem and what's wrong and how to fight what's wrong, focus on the solution and how to feel good. That's when you're working with your body and your mind effectively. So you do what healthy people do, and you act like healthy people act, and you believe what healthy people believe. That's how you work with your body.
Yeah. So with our last couple of minutes here, Peter, I want to ask you a question from today's habit. And you say you must learn to reset your body. Will you clarify what reset means or elaborate a little bit further on that?
So that's actually what I'm teaching people to do, how to reset their body so that it isn't coming from a perspective of there's something wrong with me, I'm ill, I'm sick, I have to act like a sick person acts. I've got a client who just did my recovery challenge and was in a walker when she first came, and within 4 weeks, she threw the walker away.
Cool.
As I say in the Habit That Heals, the body already knows how to recover. And it can rebuild its immune function and return to the truly vibrant state of health that we'd like to experience. It already knows how to do that. So you've got to reset your mind and your body into seeking health and acting like a healthy person acts, and do specific training techniques that get you there. Notice the changes a lot more efficiently and quickly in your body.
Yeah. And I want to kind of close on something here. The last sentence you have here, it says, if you make just a few simple shifts in your daily habits, you can help your body recover, ease your mind, and heal your life. And I remember when I was contemplating how to heal from AS, I was sitting on this couch, I was in a lot of pain, and I was thinking about this mind-body world and everything I was beginning to learn about. And I remember thinking that in order to heal, I had to be the opposite of who I felt like I was at the time. For example, I thought I had to be like the life of the party, super extroverted, just very loud, like no inhibitions. And that was a pretty scary thought. And that never actually came to be. What actually happened were a few simple shifts, like you said here, deep down about stress and just the way I was living my life. So there are a few simple shifts in my daily habits that helped my body recover. It put my mind at ease, and things cumulatively added up and got better, and I built momentum. And over time, it really did heal my life.
And now you're actualizing your inner purpose, which is to feel good. Doesn't it feel good?
It feels good to feel good. Yeah. 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 Oh, I remember there were times, as I imagine a lot of people can understand, where we would have given everything in our bank account for a day without pain.
Just one day without pain, I would have given my left arm, boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now everything is different.
Yeah. And there's a lot of us too. The story of the woman using the walker who threw the walker away after 4 weeks, that is fantastic. And it's not like, it's a great story, and it's not a miracle. It's not that rare. We understand that. We know what's going on there, both because we've done it and you can see it in her and her process.
Yeah, so most people look at this and say, oh, it's a miracle, or, they don't even believe it. But it's not a miracle. And they can believe it because it's what actually happens when you focus on health instead of on illness. Things change, the body recovers, the immune system functions properly again, and things go back to the way that they were when you're healthy and better. You move forward into better health than you've ever had. I have a lot of clients who tell me that. They're feeling better now than they ever have. I've got testimonies to that effect all over the place. And I'm not bragging on it. What I'm saying is that you can do this, guys. You really can do this. It's happening around you, and people are having these experiences simply by eliminating the root stress of their unresolved emotional issues, and then acting like a healthy person acts and doing what a healthy person does, instead of getting treatments that a sick person gets, or eating a diet that an emaciated person would have to take, and fighting and fighting and fighting themselves within their own bodies.
And I can really verify that truth because like I said, I mean, it's one thing to understand the concepts, it's another to go through the process. And what an amazing experience I had to learn this stuff by actually doing it.
Yeah, you're living proof that this is what happens when you focus properly on healing and recovery rather than focusing on treating disease.
Exactly. And we can kind of end there because Peter, you just said it perfectly. Like, these are examples of what happens when we focus on elevating wellness and not so focused on fighting disease and fighting the problems, which goes right along with today's Winslow's Habits That Heal lesson 25 of working with the body and not against it. So thanks, Peter. It's such an important shift for people to make that gives them an entirely new world of possibilities and a whole new trajectory of life.
That's right. And that's what you and I are here to do and help them with.
Yeah.
We've done it for ourselves, and now we help others as well. That's the mission.
Yeah.
So thanks for having me and providing this platform to get the word out.
You're welcome. Yeah. Thank you for your great contributions. And I will, like always, look forward to our next show.
All right. I'll see you then.
All right, Peter. See you, man. Okay. So to summarize a little bit, keep in mind what we talked about of how disease can actually help you get what you want. If your goal in life, or if your goal for now is to feel good, then start applying these concepts as much as you can in your life. And that is going to help you live out a life purpose of feeling good. Like I said, I do not believe that your life purpose is to suffer. I do not believe that your life purpose is to be confused and angry and on heady medications and searching for answers at all. I believe it's the opposite. I believe our life purpose is to play, is to connect with others, is to do the best we can in life with peace of mind, with an open heart, and with caring about ourselves as well as other people. That, ironically enough, is what ankylosing spondylitis taught me how to do. If you'd like to learn more, contact me at skydenton.com. You can contact Peter Winslow with your questions at asvictors.com. And I wish you all the best. It's springtime where I live. We're going into summer, and I'm so happy. The frozen ground is coming back to life, and I am feeling good. So I want to thank everyone for their support, and I wish you all the very best on your journey of reclaiming your life from ankylosing spondylitis.